So the alpha testing for Multiversus is over. Tony Yun has basically gone online and said thank you for all the support and feedback. He also said he was exhausted, so I'm guessing they've been at work pretty well is what they're going to do with the game. I think most of the players have given great feedback as far as what I've got to read on Reddit. Of course, they can't say a whole lot of things because they had to do a non-disclosure agreement, but from what they can say, I think fans are pretty excited. But, you know, that does mean that there have been leaks on our lovely 4chan, and this leak is massive. It's mega, so let's get to it. It's in two parts. I'm going to read it the first half, then go through the second half, and it's quite a bit to digest, so let's just get to it. So it comes from Anonymous, our lovely Anonymous, he or she, and it's titled Multiversus Leak. It says the game releases in June, Season 1 begins in July, which this could be a realistic time frame because we know the game is supposed to release in 2022, and if they're doing testing right now, that means that the game has to be some far along that it's, you know, ready to be played. So June's not the realm of possibility, and of course if we have Season 1 in July, that seems fair. So the launch roster will be Bugs Bunny, Finn, Jake, Steven Universe, Garnet, Arya Stark, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn, Tom and Jerry, Shaggy, Velma, who was just recently announced, Rain Dog, Rick Sanchez, Gandalf, Godzilla, Taz, and Scorpion. Quite a bit of a roster right there, kind of all over the Warner Brothers IP, as I've talked about in a previous video, as far as all the possible characters that could be in Multiversus. I've talked about in a previous video about how Scorpion, we didn't know if Mortal Kombat would be included in that. So in this leak, it's listing Scorpion as a character that will be with the game, so that'll be kind of cool to see how that character plays, of course, in like a MK versus DC fashion, but it's still nice that they're including him in the roster. And then it goes on to say that we have Emmett, it's the Lego Movie one, can confirm, Iron Giant, Nubia, Marvin, I'm guessing Marvin the Martian, Raven, and Legolas, were meant to also be part of the base roster but got scrapped early in the game's life, though they will appear in future seasons. So that's good to know. It says characters tied to seasons won't require the season pass as that is cosmetic focused. He's going to describe that later in the leak. Instead, events spread across the season will allow you to unlock them for free, and after the event they will become available and unlocked via coins. So that's kind of good to know, which this kind of goes with a lot of the games just like this one. You either pay for it up front, so you always get it, I think more of like Call of Duty, Fortnite, all those kind of games, you know, you pay for it, or if you want to do it free, you have to work really hard for it to collect coins and do stuff like that to pay for it. So this is kind of with everything else. So things are going to break down all the seasons and what we could get season to season. So Season 1 characters will be LeBron James, Joker, Yakko, Wacko, and Dot from the Animaniacs, and Neo from The Matrix. Season 2 is going to be set for December, and it's going to be Cartoon Network focused. Characters are going to be the Powerpuff Girls, Craig Williams, Ben Tennyson, oh there's Benton, and Mordecai and Rigby. Kind of cool characters right there, I can see that. Season 3 is going to be set for early 2023, and it has a time theme. Well, that's okay. So from July to December, so I guess they're 6 months in between, okay? Set for early 23 and has a time theme. Characters are Fred Flintstone, Max, basically Mad Max, Rakutansky, I can't remember pronounce his name right, Morty, and Samurai Jack, which will be cool to see. Season 4 is going to be DC focused. No character or date info yet, but now we know it's DC focused. Although we already have a good number of DC characters already, but maybe look at The Flash, maybe Aquaman, some of the movies that came out this year, maybe they'll give us some of those characters. These mentioned characters will be announced with their seasons. There's also a secret character each season that will be announced when there's only 65 days left in the season and released 1 week after the announcement. Ooh, that's very technical as far as what's really going to happen. It says Season 1 is Foundation from Fortnite, and he's a tank type. Season 2 is Tom from Toonami, which if you grew up with watching Toonami, you know who Tom is. He's a special type. And Season 3 is Sarah Connors from the Terminator franchise, and she's a mage range type. I don't know why Sarah Connors would be in this when she's not really a Warner Brothers franchise. So already, I mean, there's been a couple of things in leaks, but already that to me says this is obviously not real. Obviously with these leaks, take it with a grain of salt, always with a grain of salt, but it's kind of fun to discuss. So that's the first part of the leak. So moving on to the second part, because like I said, it's quite a bit. It says about the Battle Pass. The Battle Pass will basically cost $5, but if you complete it, you can get double in premium currency, enough to pay for the next season's BP, like in Fortnite or in Call of Duty, all those other games. Each pass comes with 100 tiers and 9 costumes. BPS 1 costumes are TDK Joker, Hillbilly Yakko, Wacko, and Dot, Resurrections Neo, King LeBron James, Ravaged Foundation, LT Show Bugs, 1930s Superman, which would be kind of cool, Fiona, and Get a Clue Shaggy. It says the other prizes are the in-game coins and premium currency, exclusive emotes. One of them being a Bugs One base on a big Chungus. And some profile customization items based on both media that past characters come from and some miscellaneous media. Season 1 has profile items based on Peacemaker, which makes sense because of the show, Gremlins, Freakazoid, Infinity Train, and Gumball. Ooh, like I said, this is huge leak, huge, lots of information. It says modes, basic battle and practice modes for both SP and MP arrive with the game, and later there'll be stamina, horde, crazy, gather, and boss battle modes. They'll be only playable via events. Story mode, and this is what I find interesting, that if you read the story, it's reminds me a lot of Super Smash Brothers, but this is interesting. Mode narrates the story of 6 original characters, one of them being the Rain Dog, because we all wondered why they create these new characters. Then 8 chapters with the first 2 at launch, and the other ones being added later with each new character. So except the last one, which has no character tied to it and released a little bit later than the one that goes before it. So the other characters, aside from the dog, are a bulky warrior tank, which we have seen in previous leaks that have come up, a female ninja, we've also seen her, a mermaid witch, a dragon hybrid, and a weird space creature. Now here's about the story. Story is about them in a journey to defeat an entity named the Nothing after an event that erased their worlds from existence and took them and many others into the multiversus reality. So very similar, I think, in some ways to like what we saw in Space Jam 2 and we saw in Super Smash Brothers, but I'm for it no matter what. It says an animated web series for YouTube will start alongside the release of the second chapter, which I think will be kind of cool. That'll be kind of cool to watch. An additional side story or just a complement of what the game. Switch port is planned for Nintendo Switch. Release on the Epic Games store will tie to Foundation character release, because when I saw Fortnite in there, I'm like, what does Fortnite have to do with Warner Brothers? But I guess they're going to have some type of partnership, which makes sense because all those a lot of Warner Brothers characters show up in Fortnite. Players will have save data from Injustice 1, or players with save data from Injustice 1 or Mortal Kombat 11 will receive a special costume for Batman, Superman, and Scorpion. Whew, that was a lot. So that is the leak, and I mean, there's a lot to digest, but I think even if this leak is not coming out to be true, I think it gives us a lot to go off of as far as how the game could be structured, what kind of roster we could see from the main season to season if it's true. Like I said, anytime with these leaks, this is kind of cool to see as the game comes out. Was it true? As the game progresses, was this leaker true? That's the kind of stuff that I think is kind of fun when it comes to leaks. Most times I think leaks are always wrong, but they kind of give us some idea of what to expect and what to get excited for when a game comes out. So we always got the roster, which is really huge. It breaks down what kind of DLC we can have as far as the costumes for the characters and how the actual in-game purchases will work. And then, of course, the story. So what do you think about the leak that we just discussed, that I just talked about? What do you think about the roster, the story, the release date? What do you think about the 5 or 6 new characters that we got for the game? What do you think about the release schedule as far as the seasons? Like I said, it's a lot to digest. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. And that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed that like button, you want to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time on the Mashup.